Once upon a time there was a sock monkey called Mr. Camouflage. His friends called him Cam. Cam lived in a box. It was not just any box though. It was the box. But he was not on his own. Within the box there were many other sock monkeys, all of whom were very typical. Cam's life started as a baby sock monkey born to two typical monkeys called Karen and Walter. Cam, like all monkeys, grew and was shaped by the world around him. Gradually, however, he came to see he was not like the other typical monkeys in the box, and so he increased his efforts to blend in. But no matter how hard he tried, he just could not get the blend right. Not being the same as the other monkeys was dangerous. See, the box Cam lived in was constructed by bricks, each brick containing a rule to live by. These bricks and their rules created the environment that the sock monkeys lived within. They didn't always see the rules, but they could feel them. The box itself would identify monkeys who were particularly educated in its rules, and these monkeys would become the guardians of the box. Cam would try and hide his difference as he didn't want the other sock monkeys to notice, as he knew the consequence. See, sock monkeys who were different were feared and could be expelled from the box, destined to roam the unboxed expanse. Sock monkeys could look out from the box and see the unboxed monkeys. Cam would do this looking on in fear as the stories he heard of the dangerous unboxed ones scared him. Little did he know that each of these supposedly dangerous monkeys had a beautiful story and a unique richness. These weren't the stories Cam heard. The sock monkey media only shared news stories and creative works that portrayed sock monkeys who are different as dangerous, unpredictable, and not to be trusted. Some of Cam's friends would take comfort in knowing they were not likely to be the 1 in 4 sock monkey who would be excluded from the box. But Cam worried. He knew deep down that he didn't quite fit. Cam had witnessed the pushing out of monkeys who were not box approved. That was not a life he wanted for himself. Whatever it took, he was gonna blend in. Life outside the box held much unknown, but what was certain was the holding spaces that the guardians of the box had created to contain the not box approved monkeys. These constructions were deemed useful by the box, as it gave it a place to store the monkeys that were deemed dangerous because of their difference. The typical monkeys trusted their loved ones to the guardians as they believed that they would cure them. Once their dangerousness and difference was fixed, they believed their loved one would be able to fit back into the normality of the box. Little did they know that the process of being deemed not box approved meant that their precious family members would never feel safe or that they truly fitted. Monkeys would be contained in these places until they were deemed to not pose a risk to the box's integrity, or the typical conforming monkeys. But even once they were freed from these spaces, the label of not box approved meant that they were not able to re-enter the box. They were forced to wander the Great Unboxed Expanse. But back to our dear friend Cam. Cam was trying with all his might to avoid the stare of the other typical monkeys. It was a lonely place hiding in his little room. Eventually, Cam could not stand covering his true camouflage self any longer. He bravely ventured out to connect with his friends. But they were all gravely concerned when they saw all he had become. The typical monkeys brought Cam before the guardians of the box, Dr. Psyche and Dr. ICD. The two guardians quickly got down to business, asking Cam, "What's wrong with you?" After meeting with Cam for 45 minutes, Dr. Psyche deemed him not box approved and gave him several labels to explain why he did not fit. Next was Dr. ICD's turn. He too listened briefly to Cam, trying to figure out what was wrong. He knew Cam had faced hard times because of the box rules, but he still focused on there being something wrong with Cam, rather than questioning the expectations of the box. He too had no choice but to deem Cam not boxed approved. And with that, in a single moment, Cam's life changed forever. he felt himself pushed outside of the box into the Great Unboxed Expanse. Cam was like most box-excluded monkeys before him, focusing on returning to normality by re-entering the box. But no matter how hard he tried, he could not convince the guardians of the box that he was now typical. Cam wandered around the Great Unboxed Expanse, feeling lost, alone, and as if he was broken. One day, Cam came across a colourful and kind, not box-approved monkey as she absorbed the sunshine in a daffodil field. As Cam approached, she asked him, "Oh, what's happened?" This was the first time he had been asked this. Up until this moment, he had only ever been asked, "What's wrong with you?" Cam and his new friend Lisa started to chat. He began to wonder whether unboxed monkeys weren't so scary after all. Lisa invited Cam to meet her family. Cam was warmed by the gentle acceptance he felt. Lisa was connected to a number of other unboxed monkeys. Gradually, over time, Cam was introduced to them. As he got to know each of the monkeys, he learned a little of their journey to accepting life outside the box. Big Heart Pearl shared about how she came to understand her big feelings were trying to support her to understand her needs. Freddie opened up about how the fact he looked different to others in the box had brought about big angry feelings. He regretted his previous bullying behaviour, and since exploring life outside the box, he had found new ways of accepting himself and working with his anger. As Cam got to know the other monkeys, he found he could see elements of his own story in theirs. While each had a different story, there was always something they had in common. Cam started to understand that unboxed monkeys had a lot of wisdom to share. He listened intently as they revealed their skills, strategies, and how they used their unique ways of being to live. A turning point was connecting with the guru, Father Mallow, who taught Cam mindful yoga. This became one of his favourite practices for looking after his sacred monkey spirit. He also began to see he too had a toolbox of skills and shared some of these with the other monkeys. When Cam felt sad, his friends would listen, and when they felt sad, Cam would listen. Lisa told Cam this was called mutual support. Through his friendship with Princess Frou-Frou Tea, Cam discovered that he had a love of music and started to write and play beautiful songs. Cam began to see that he had a place in the Great Unboxed Expanse. He felt valued and was also able to value others and their unique way of being. Sometimes Cam would experience some big sad feelings as he missed his whānau and friends. Cam would go to the box window and try to reconnect with his old mates. Initially, Cam's family would try to encourage him to do the things the box demanded in order to fit back in. But Cam's unboxed wisdom included knowing he felt stronger and more connected to others and himself living outside the box. He wished they could also understand that life outside the box was not the horrifying place they'd been led to believe. One day, he decided that maybe his whānau would be interested in seeing him playing the guitar. Cam's family were curious about this new skill and the joy they saw in Cam as he played the guitar and talked about his colourful friend, Princess Frou-Frou Tea. In fact, they were so curious that they bravely decided to take a step outside the box and learn more about Cam's unboxed life. Cam was so moved that his family came to see him. He knew what a big deal it was for them to try to see the world he lived in. He felt hopeful that he may be able to live an unboxed life and still be accepted by the people who he loved. Cam's family got to know many of his unboxed friends. They listened with interest to the different stories and talents each of the unboxed monkeys shared with them. Cam's dad, Walter, decided he wanted to learn the guitar. They would sit together in the shade of the bushes as Cam taught his dad the special tricks to make the guitar sing. Cam's dad loved spending time with his son, and he found himself making more and more trips outside the box to spend time with him making music. Cam's family could see that unboxed life was good for Cam, and should he decide to stay there, they could choose to come and visit whenever they wanted. Nervously, Cam's mum decided to start teaching the mindful yoga she had learnt in the Great Unboxed Expanse to the monkeys inside the box. As she taught the classes, she gently introduced the story of how she came to learn this wonderful skill. Through her words, the typical monkeys attending the classes started to hear new, more positive, truthful stories of those who lived outside the box. Cam decided an unboxed life was a life not only worth living, but one that deserves celebrating in all its brilliance. And so, that was what he began to do with his vibrant new friends, each and every day, regardless of the hard times, because Cam had learnt that there was no happily ever after. He hopes you too can celebrate the unboxed lives in your community.